Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Big Lee's World Podcast. It is I, your host, Big Lee, coming to you once again from Big Lee's Boom Boom Room right here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And today, I want to present to you another throwback episode from my time of working with Death By Metal STL, now known as Death By Metal MMB. Make sure to check them out on all their socials at Death By Metal MMB. And today, in honor of CCW's 5-year anniversary, July 31st, 2021, depending on when you're listening to this at the AC Braze Arena, I want to bring to the limelight here an interview I did with what would end up being the first CCW heavyweight champion, Brandon Barbwire. We did this interview back in 2016 to kind of get some traction going to get the word out about CCW, as their very first show was coming up 5 years ago this month, which is crazy to believe. But nonetheless, like I said, I wanted to bring this out there in honor of CCW's 5-year anniversary. So make sure to check this out. And if you're listening to this before the 31st, make sure you go get your tickets at capewrestling.com for the big 5-year anniversary show. And if you're listening to this past July 31st, make sure to go check it out on Fight TV. So make sure to check this episode out, listen to it, give me some feedback. Like I said, this was 5 years ago, so don't be too harsh with it. But I just want to pay homage to my time at Death By Metal STL, my time at CCW, and bring back to light this great interview that happened with Brandon Barbwire at the Burger King in Scott City, Missouri. So enjoy, and as always, 2 scoops of whoop, whoop, whoop. Alright, this is Big Lee with Death By Metal STL. Today I have with me Brandon Barbwire. First off, I appreciate you sitting down and taking the time to talk with me today. So just getting started off, just kind of tell me about yourself. How did you get involved in professional wrestling?
Well, I started when I was really, really young, actually. My Uncle Bub, who passed away, he got me involved when I was like 5, as far as just watching it and being obsessed with it. And that carried on all the way until I was about 16, when there was an independent show up the road from me in a town called Dexter, Missouri. I met a guy there named Derek King, and I told him I wanted to be a wrestler. He's like, well, give me your number, kid. Give me your number. And I gave him my number. He called me, and then about 6 months later, I was training. That's how it got started, anyway. I mean, as far as like from a professional standpoint.
Okay. So what age did you say you started?
16, training.
Okay, training at 16. How old are you now?
I'll be 30 in August.
30 in August. So you've been doing this for almost 14 years.
Yeah, I mean, as far as including training.
Okay.
Which, keep in mind, like, you don't just start training and then, it's been 2 weeks. Well, it's time to wrestle a match now. Well, actually, nowadays, it seems like that is the way it is with some of these promotions, which is downright sad. And
I was going to say, some of the local shows I've been to, it seems like if you get there early enough, myself and some of my friends, we want to make sure one of the first ones in the door, because we always want to sit front row. So, of course, as you know, sometimes scheduling's right behind. So, as the crowd is coming in the building, you still have the guys setting up and testing the ring.
Yeah.
And it's always funny. It seems like you see the guys that are setting up the ring are now in the opening card.
Yeah.
So, I could definitely agree that it seems like...
Well, it's crazy because, like, that's part of paying dues. Like, in general, like, you start training, you start setting up rings, and you start running errands, and you're setting up chairs, and all of that is really a part of it. Like, that makes sense. But what doesn't make sense was, like, whenever I started wrestling, man, like, it was a year at least of setting up rings and training before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was no me getting in the ring and wrestling a match that night. No, like, I was paying my dues for at least a year training and setting up rings before I ever had my first match. So nowadays, I mean, I've literally seen this. Someone come in, train for about a month, but it's not consistently every day. It's like, well, I trained 4 Saturdays, so now I'm ready to be a pro wrestler. And yeah, and the booker's like, oh, well, he's got a good body, he's got a good look. Hell, let's see what he can do. Throw his ass out there. Who cares if someone gets their neck broken? It's insane.
I believe it. So where was your first match?
Where South Parkway in Memphis is?
Yes.
Not far from there.
Okay.
So rough part of town. There's a company called MAW. Guys that were there at the time were Reno Diamond, a guy named Criminal, Blaylock the Blazer, me and my friend we started on the same night, Anton LeVay.
Okay.
One of my very best friends. He is a brother to me. We started on the same night, and we went out there, and you know, even though you train for a year, it's not the same as being in a match and learning. Like training and doing practice matches is just not the same, and there's a whole different level of nerves. So, and you've got a whole new set of shit to learn now that you're actually on the show and psychology and all that stuff. I won't say we had a good match. I'll say we didn't have a terrible match.
Okay.
So it was fun.
So have you always been a solo wrestler, or have you been a part of a tag team, a faction, or anything along those lines?
I started solo.
Okay.
And then after, I don't know, about 5 years or so, like me and Anton were wrestling in Mississippi. He had met a guy down there named Kenny Valiant who was running shows in Batesville, Mississippi, Coffeyville, Savannah, and all these towns down in that area. He introduced me to Kenny, and Kenny started out with us, like, we would travel to all these different towns working each other, and somehow that segued into a tag team, and then we were a tag team for a year solid. We worked two guys, Kool-Aid and Josh Matthews, which Kool-Aid actually wrestles by Chris Styles. They're brothers. We wrestled those guys 100 million frickin' times, but that whole year, I think we were tag team champions for a year, undefeated. It was a lot of fun.
So I've got to ask, why they call him Kool-Aid?
You know, I wish I knew. I really don't know. Like, when I met him, like, everyone was calling him Kool-Aid. Like, I never got, like, the backstory on it. My guess would be, dude likes Kool-Aid. But probably not. That probably has nothing to do with it.
Well, I mean, I can't blame him, you know. Do like some Kool-Aid. Of course, a grape one. What has been your favorite wrestling moment that you've been a part of?
Oh, man. Dude, that is such a hard question, because I have literally loved everything I've done. I've had so much fun. Because, I mean, this is like my dream, you know, like, and even if it's not on the level that I'd always imagined when I was a child, like, I'm still living that dream. So maybe I trained a girl named she wrestles by Little Bit.
Okay.
And she had started with me. I guess she had been training for about a year, roughly. When she had her first match and she come running to the back, she was so excited. Like, she jumped up and wrapped her arms around me and gave me a hug. Seeing that excitement on her face, and I know that's silly. Like, I mean, it should be something that's about me, but just seeing that excitement on her face, and me knowing I helped introduce her to this, and this is what she loves, and she's doing well, and made me feel really great. So that's up there. I mean, that's one of them.
Okay, well, you know, showing it out, you know, showing others, you know, help bring them in. It's always an awesome feeling.
I like to teach.
Okay.
I always have.
Anybody else you've had a part in?
A hand in helping teach?
Yeah.
Dude, a lot of people.
Okay.
I helped, do you know Sin?
Yep.
He was Sin and DJ Stunner. They did the tag team for a while.
Okay.
I helped both of them. I helped bring them in. His brother Josh as well. I helped train both of those guys. Let's see. There was Houston. Houston was down there. I helped him out a little bit. And, of course, me and Anton basically were on the side of being trained. When we were coming up, we were every week, all week long with each other going over rehearsals. So we trained each other in a lot of ways, trying to critique and stuff. But, like, everywhere I'm at, everywhere that I'm staying for a minute, if I have the opportunity to get in there and teach somebody, I will.
Okay.
So I feel like it's my responsibility.
Okay. Now, one thing that you mentioned, and I want to touch on, kind of give people that are listening to this, maybe it's the first time they've heard of you, or maybe it's a longtime fan that had followed you throughout Tennessee, followed you out to Mississippi. You mentioned about a neck injury.
Oh, yeah.
So what kind of happened there?
Okay, so I'm working in Dyersburg, Tennessee.
Okay.
and I'm working with a guy named Biscuit.
Okay.
I love Biscuit to death. I mean, he's a tough dude, and I have so much fun working with him. He's really talented. He goes to give me that Kofi Kingston's Trouble in Paradise kick. Right? Well, he hits me with it, and I take the bump, and when I do and I hit, dude, everything on my left side just goes numb, like the crap. I can't hardly move it. I know something's wrong, right? So we keep working. We wrestle another 10 minutes, finish the match. I went over, by the way. Yeah, I won that match. Went back to the back, and I couldn't straighten up, and I could only bend down so far. I couldn't straighten all the way up. Went to the hospital a couple days later because I'm like, oh, this that's just a scratch. This shit'll buff out. It didn't. So a couple days later, I'm at the hospital. Like, oh, it's muscular. It's muscular. Take these muscle relaxers. You'll be fine. Well, I wasn't. A couple months later, find out that I had my C5, C6 had actually the disc in where my neck meets like the top part of my back had actually imploded in on my spinal cord. So I ended up having to have surgery and rehab, and that just drug on. It took forever. There was like a year of my life gone where I couldn't wrestle, I couldn't walk fast, I couldn't work, couldn't do anything. It was terrible. But, silver lining, at the end of it, I wasn't paralyzed, and I can wrestle again. So it definitely could have been a lot worse. That being said, it sucked.
So how long were you out for?
A year and like 4 months, and then I kind of slowly introduced myself back into it a little bit, and actually still almost somewhat in that process because like I still feel things differently now in the ring than I did before. Okay. And so like taking a basic bump now, maybe I'll get a numbness shoot down my arm, and maybe I won't. So I mean, it's weird and it's an adjustment, but like it wasn't something that I wanted to rush back into a full-time schedule like before right off the bat. It's been a slow progression, but it's been worth it. Because sitting at home, not being able to do it, dude, it's so weird. It's kind of like someone taking away a family member or something. Oh, right. I literally mourned when I was told you'll never do this again. My doctor said to me, you'll never wrestle again. And thank God I got a second opinion and found a better surgeon. Because, dude, like, you'd have thought my mom died. Like it was bad. I was depressed. It was not cool.
So you said doing the math, I'd say you've probably been doing this. You said close 14, 15 years.
Live working matches. I've been doing it 12 years.
12 years.
But that is also accounting in mind, taking away the fact that there was a year that I didn't do anything because I had a broken neck.
So it's safe to say you've got to travel a lot. You've got to work a lot of great talent, probably some a little subpar.
Yeah.
Who is left that you would like to wrestle? Who's left that you'd like to work or have a program with?
Wow. Oh, okay. So like local guys.
Yeah, especially in the indie scene. I mean, I'm sure everyone out there would like, one shot to work like a John Cena or The Rock or something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, independent scene. Maybe in that Tennessee area, or maybe just throughout any of the indie scenes. Who is there out there left that you'd like to work?
Derek King. He's the one that introduced me to wrestling and the business, and in all this time, in all the 12 years, as unbelievable as it may be, and all that time, I have never wrestled a match with Derek King. Not even one. And we were just talking about this like a month or two ago. And he was telling me how ridiculous it was, and he's getting ready to retire now.
Oh, really?
So like on I think his birthday this coming year will be his retirement. I think he's discussed it anyway, and so if I don't do it in the next year, it may not happen at all. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
So would you say with this interview tonight that this is the official open challenge to Derek King before he quits to come and wrestle Brandon Barbwire?
Oh yeah, I would love it. I would love it if he decides to take it as I won't say challenge, I'll say invitation. If he takes it as an invitation, then that's great.
Well, like I was saying earlier, here at Death by Metal STL, our basis is in a rock and a metal platform. So my question to you is, what kind of music do you like?
Oh, dude, I like all kinds of music. I mean, I'm really eclectic. I listen from, literally a little bit of everything, pretty much. Even some classical stuff on the radio. If I catch it on, if it hits my ear just right, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus here for a minute. But like, there's a song called "The Quiet Place" by a band called Flames.
Okay.
I really love that song a lot. I've used it as an entrance a couple times. Love Disturbed. I love Slipknot. I love Mushroom Head. I love Mudvayne. Like bands like that. Even like back. Do you remember? What was it? The original Drowning Pool.
Yes.
Album. They put out. I love that
Sinner.
album.
Yep.
Yeah, Sinner was great, dude. Every song on that album.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. There's another band, and they're not really, I guess, as a hard rock as Cold.
Cold, yep.
Yeah, they had the Year of the Spider album. I liked that one quite a bit.
Actually, a funny story. It was about 2011. We went to a venue in St. Louis called The Pageant, and it was a band up and coming at that time, a band called Volbeat.
Really?
And it was them and Cold. And it was kind of like,
awesome.
I felt like with Cold, it was kind of a more of like trying to be a resurgence coming back.
I wish that they catch a little steam, man, because I really liked Cold, and I liked both of the albums that I listened to. I don't even know what all else they have, but around here, especially where we live, like, nobody talks about them. They're never even heard of. I can't tell you how many people I've mentioned that band to, and they're like, "Who's that? Who the hell's Cold?" I'm like, oh, come on. But like, too, when I think about this, like bands like Cradle of Filth. I liked a lot of their stuff too. I don't know what they're doing recently, but like there's a lot of bands that kind of just from when I used to the shit that I used to listen to, like in the early 2000s. These guys have just like vanished and disappeared, and I miss a lot of them. Like, and of course, I guess some of them are dead, so that doesn't help.
Right.
The lifestyle doesn't help anything. But,
yeah, that original Drowning Pool lineup, I don't think that we're gonna.
Yeah,
but. Talking about Drowning Pool, I don't know if you've seen this or not. It's something I've been following. Hopefully, it'll get booked closer to St. Louis. I know right now, I think the closest it's coming is Evansville. But they have a thing that's called the Make America Rock Tour. And it is headlined by Trapped.
That's sweet, man.
12 Stones, Tantric. I know some of the dates are going to have POD on it. It's going to have Drowning Pool. It's going to have Saving Abel on it.
Yeah, dude. I like Saving Abel.
So that would definitely be something I think that'd be fun to see.
Oh yeah, that'd be worth checking out. That was like I think the last concert in St. Louis that I went to. It actually was Illinois' Pops,
right?
Sanjay. I went and saw.
Actually, I want to hold you off for a real second there. I want to give a shout out to Justin Little out there. Appreciate everything you do for us out at Pops. So sorry, go ahead.
No, Pops is awesome. You're right. Yeah, they deserve a shout out. I had a blast when I was out there. But the headline was Rise Against.
Okay, awesome.
Dude, that was so much fun. I had a blast. Dude ate a bug and he told me about it. It was awesome.
I got to see Rise Against one time. We went down to Nashville. I think it was last year. It was Linkin Park, Rise Against, and Of Mice and Men.
I would have loved to have seen Linkin Park, man.
It was fun, but the crazy thing about it is what made it feel really special. They only did about 3 or 4 shows of that tour, and it got canceled because
Really?
Chester ended up getting hurt. Like he hurt his foot or his leg or something jumping around.
Dude, that's crazy because like when a wrestler gets hurt, we tough it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? We push through and we do what we got to do, unless we break our neck, and then we sit at home for a year and wish that we could do it. But God, that would kill me to be in the middle of a tour and just be like, "Oh, sorry, shut down. I broke my foot." Like, damn it.
Oh yeah, and like I said, and for the people that didn't get to see that tour, it was an awesome tour. I must say, I've always kind of been a little like I love the first Linkin Park album, and then it kind of when the sound kind of changed for me, I didn't fully like go for it. But the fact that they had Rise Against open with them,
Yeah.
like that was amazing. I'd never seen Rise Against. Became a huge fan of them that night. And with Linkin Park, I was just like, wow.
Dude, Linkin Park, like live, compared to the CD, like, you know, some guys you show up and you listen to them like, okay, it's good, but it's not cool. Something missing.
Right.
I don't quite feel it the same way. And then other guys, it's like, is even better. Is better than the album. It's better than sitting at home and listening to it through my CD player or now my computer. You know, like, is Linkin Park up to snuff with the things that they produce out as far as on their albums or their is it just as good?
I feel like it, yes. Here's the thing, I feel like there's like a certain era of music, circa like 1999 to 2006, 2007, that I think nowadays gets a bad rap. And you hear people making fun of them all the time, and I don't know why. I think it's people that are closed-minded about it, and they don't really give it a true experience now. I still tell people all the time, hands down, one of the best shows I have ever went to go see was Limp Bizkit on their reunion tour at Pops in 2013.
I mean, I liked Limp Bizkit, like the chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water. Of course, WrestleMania 17 didn't hurt anything.
Well, yeah, that, you know,
because I mean they ran that album like crazy, and The Undertaker even used Rollin' for Stevie. So for like that whole year, I was just like, dude, Fred Durst is the man. Like, even though I knew he was kind of douchey, it was cool because I liked his album. I liked his music.
Here is the thing I will tell you about Fred Durst. I've met Fred Durst multiple times. The media wants to portray him as being douchey. Fred Durst is one of the nicest people I've ever met. He always takes time for his fans. He will sign autographs. He takes photos with you. One of the absolute nicest people.
That's crazy because he came to my house one time, and he called me a fat loser. So, you know, if you call that nice, it's whatever.
Wait, now, are you sure that was Fred Durst or was that Jason the Brain?
It might have been a dream. Yeah, it might have been in the period of time when my neck was broken. I was on a lot of painkillers then, so I don't know. That might have been a hallucination.
So where can we find you next?
I'll be in Cape Girardeau on July 16th. It's basically a great opening for the company, Cape Championship Wrestling. I'll be a part of the heavyweight title tournament. I'm actually really excited about it. The company seems like it's going to have a lot of promise. They've got a lot of big plans for it.
Okay.
If everything goes even half as well as they're expecting, I'll be happy working there. Yeah, especially from an indie standpoint, it's so hard to find a good reputable company. So I'm pretty excited about it, really.
Now, one thing that's great about the Cape Championship Wrestling, this is the first time, really, in Southeast Missouri in a long time, there has been kind of like a local promotion running. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah. I think the last time was 2008. Was the last time that we had a show in Cape Girardeau.
Okay.
But, I mean, it didn't... I don't know. Like, it's hard in this area because, like, there's not a lot of people that know much about independent wrestling around here. Like, around here, if it's not WWE, they're like, what the hell is that? Who the hell is that? Why would I care about Joe Blow? But hopefully, you know, they did a Comic-Con thing earlier this year.
Okay.
And there was, they had, I think, Terry Funk was there and a couple other guys that were there. They had a really good response and a good show up. They even did a show. They had like 200-some people there. So if we can take that crowd, maybe get people who have kind of, because wrestling has changed so much even since 2008 to now. I mean, just the internet has broadened people's horizons a little bit on what is out there. Hopefully we can draw from that kind of crowd, people that watch the stuff online and know about ROH or New Japan, because we can get those kind of talents there in Cape Championship Wrestling. Those guys are fairly easy to get a hold of, really. So I mean, as far as ROH goes anyway, I don't know about New Japan, but
I feel like, especially with the indie professional wrestling, I feel like it kind of mirrors the way it is with rock bands and metal bands in that scene. I feel like people don't understand that in order to get an attendance or like to get huge shows like a WWE to come back to Cape, or to be able to see these WWE guys eventually come into Cape Championship Wrestling to work a show, that they've actually, like, there's got to be the intent and there's got to be the interest for it. Same as with a metal band. It's like, I've been dealing with the metal scene for 10 plus years now, and one thing I can say, especially here in Cape Girardeau, it's like people don't really support that local scene. Yeah. And it's like, they got to understand, if you're not supporting your local scene, you're not going to get a national based on a national scene because of that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it doesn't matter if you're Slayer. If Slayer didn't start as a local band and have the support to push them out to a mainstream national band, if there wasn't a crowd that was supporting them, you wouldn't have those. So there has been a lot of great talent, especially in the Cape Girardeau area, with bands that if this area would support them, they could potentially be the next Slayer or the next Cold.
Right.
And it's the same as with the professional wrestling, I feel like. You know, this area, it's a hotbed. It's been that way for years. Missouri has always been a great state for wrestling, even though the state of Missouri is not overly fond of it, and they want to make it really difficult to have it.
The athletic commission goes out of their way to make shit difficult for professional wrestling.
So, like, the talent that is, this indie talent that's in the area, like, if crowds would come out and support it, you know, we could eventually see in maybe Cape Championship Wrestling, we may see someone that elevates enough and gets enough push and gets exposed enough to become the next Rock, the next Steve Austin, the next John Cena, the next AJ Styles.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, granted, it's a lofty wish, but at the same time, like, that's where everybody's going to start. Everybody's going to start somewhere, you know. And if you want anything to come of this, you know, yeah, you do need to support, you know, the local guys and the people from your areas. And that's not just, you know, obviously for wrestling, but, you know, your bands and your musicians in the area and stuff. But I'm hoping that this place has been under such a dry spell wrestling-wise for so long that now people are hungry for it again. And hopefully we can draw off of that. That's kind of the impression that my buddy Jason got from the Comic-Con.
Okay, awesome.
Was that because apparently there was multiple people told him, man, wrestling around here, we haven't had it in forever. We wish we had a wrestling show. Me and my friends thought about this, blah, blah, blah. If there's buzz like that and it's more than just a small select few, or even if those small select few can come to the show and then word of mouth is like wildfire, I think the most important thing is that when they show up, they don't get to a wrestling show that is not only guys that they don't know, but by the end of the night, they still don't care about. By the end of the night, they need to care about who they saw and what they saw. And that is my job. And that is the job of everybody on that card, is to bring these people in and make sure that when they leave, they're glad they spent their money there.
Besides Brandon Barbwire, who else will be at this show in Cape Girardeau on July 16th? And where is it at again?
It's at the Osage Center in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Obviously.
So literally right there next to the water park.
Yeah, it's the same building, right? Like it's just like in the backyard.
So literally you could take the kids and the family to the day at the water park and come right on in and enjoy a great night of wrestling on the 16th of July, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. I look forward to seeing everybody out there. It's going to be me, Brandon Barbwire, of course. I'll be in the heavyweight championship tournament. Sarge O'Reilly is also in that tournament. A guy named Billy Hills is also in that tournament. And then Jason Vaughn is in the tournament. It's I think that's the four guys in the tournament. And then I don't know. There's been a lot of other names thrown around, but mainly I'm focused on me and four other guys in the tournament. I've got my wheels turning on exactly how and what I plan on doing that night to make sure that I have the best night that I possibly can.
Now, will it be one match with four of y'all, or is it going to be broken down into two matches, or how is that going to work out?
No, it is going to be broken down in almost like a King of the Ring style fashion.
Okay.
Like, it'll be me versus Sarge O'Reilly and Billy Hills versus Jason Vaughn, and then the winner of those two matches will go at it, and whoever wins that match will become the first ever CCW, or Cape Championship Wrestling, heavyweight champion. And hopefully it's me. It's going to be me. I don't know.
So you're saying...
I'm going to dominate.
You're going to dominate. So, July 16th, after this tournament, if you're in that attendance, they will see a crowning of a CCW heavyweight champion.
Yes. If July 16th, one way or another, someone is going to become the first ever Cape Girardeau Championship Wrestling heavyweight champion. There will be a champion crown.
So everyone that's there will be a part of history.
Yeah, everyone could potentially be a part of, the biggest thing to ever happen to professional wrestling. Brandon Barbwire wins the heavyweight title.
Now, with that, I heard that if Brandon Barbwire wins the championship, he's taking everybody out for dinner that night. Now, that may be a rumor. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that.
Well, no, that is just a blatant lie. That is not happening. Wrestlers don't make that much money. We got enough to get by, mostly on dollar menu. That's mostly my diet. I get dollar menu and I throw away a lot of the bread so I don't have so much carbs.
So if he wins, he'll take somebody to get a McChicken, and he'll give you the bun part of it, and he'll take the chicken part.
That I will agree to. I am more than happy to do that.
Awesome, Brandon. Once again, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with Death by Metal STL. And
oh man, I had a blast.
Appreciate it. We look forward to doing a part 2 with you. Like I said, July 16th, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, Osage Center, the first ever Cape Championship Wrestling show. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, just if you're in the Cape area, by all means, come out, have a good time. I can guarantee you will not leave disappointed. I'm on the show. You will leave happy.
There you go. You can't beat that. Like I said, Brandon Barbwire. This is Big Lee with Death by Metal STL. Thanks. Have a great night.